today we are doing a highly requested tattoo tour. First off though, welcome back to my channel, my little baby channel that I'm slowly growing little by little. Over on my other channels, I'm always being asked to do a tattoo tour, but I figured that it would be best to do it over here on YouTube, just because like, I'm gonna wanna get chitty chatty about all of my tattoos, that like, I wanna take my time telling the weird stories behind all of them, and like, that's just not friendly for like a short form platform. So instead, we're gonna hang out over here on YouTube and talk about all of my tattoos. So in total, I have 17 tattoos. Some of my hand tattoos I'm considering as one tattoo, just because I got it from the same artist in the same sitting, so it just is clumping into one. I'm realizing I haven't gotten a new tattoo in probably like 4 years. Oh, I am so long overdue for a new tattoo, but just, you know, adulting is difficult. Money has to go other places. Like, I'm just combating my shopping addiction every day, and now we're planning a whole wedding, but we are considering having a real tattoo artist at our wedding. I just think that's so cool and like badass, and like, I just love it. You know, it's something different, but it is gonna come down to cost, just because like everything else is so expensive that like, that is not necessary. It's just like an extra fun thing, but we'll see. We talked to a tattoo company, hoping they come back with like a reasonable quote for us. I figure what's gonna make the most sense for this video is to tell you about my tattoos in chronological order, just because a lot of them have to do with like where I was at in my life at that time. So my very first tattoo was not done by a real tattoo artist. It is a stick and poke coffee cup on my thigh that my friend in high school just did for me one day. Like, me and her were just like bored one day, and she was like, "Do you want a tattoo?" And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Like the dumb 16-year-old I am. I mean, like, honestly, for this being a stick and poke by a 16-year-old, it's really not that bad. Like, I've seen way worse ones out there. This one has like shading and has stayed like pretty well for 10 plus years. Like, I'm not mad at it at all. That's something you're gonna learn with all of my tattoos, is like, I don't really believe in regret at all. All of these tells a story about where I was at in my life at the time I got it, and like, that's what tattoos are to me. They're just literally a scrapbook of my life. It's really nothing any more serious than that. Like, half of these actually don't have any meaning behind them, but they still have like a story behind it. You know, you'll see what I mean when we get there. My second tattoo is also a stick and poke by that same friend, and it is a tooth on my middle finger. Is it like, so basically it actually has no meaning. Like, I can't tell you why we decided to do a tooth, but now what I tell people is that it just means like, bite me, you know what I mean? That's not actually the story behind choosing it. It was just totally random that it was a tooth, but I like joking that it's about like, you know, bite me, middle finger, blah, 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 whatever. Now, my third tattoo was the first tattoo that I got done by like a real tattoo artist. I got it when I was like freshly 18, and I remember my parents being so mad about it, even though like they really shouldn't have been that mad about it, because like they saw my other two stick and poke tattoos. What did they think was gonna happen when I actually turned 18 and could go get a real tattoo? Like, you don't think I'm just gonna keep going if I'm already doing it with a needle and ink in my bedroom? Honestly, that's on them. So this third tattoo is just a honeybee with some flowers around it. To be honest, I just found this artwork on Pinterest and brought it to a local tattoo shop, and they just slapped it on me like it wasn't anything that they tweaked themselves. But I got a bee because bees are actually my favorite animal. Like, people don't believe me when I say that, or they think it's weird, but bees are feminist icons, okay? The only purpose of a male bee is to mate with a queen bee. Like, if they don't mate, they are pushed out of the hive to go die somewhere. Even when they do mate with the queen bee, they still go die somewhere else. All worker bees are female bees. Like, you can't tell me that they are not feminist icons. That's exactly how the world should be. But that's a whole nother conversation that we don't need to get into. I also in high school dressed like a vintage pinup girl. Like, it was a whole thing that I just really committed to hardcore. And like, honestly, how iconic of a 16-year-old to go to high school with victory rolls and a petticoat and red lipstick. Like, that was commitment to the bit. But my social media handle at that time was the Vintage Honeybee, and this was the time that I got the tattoo. So I just really committed to my bee bit before I changed my handle from the Vintage Honeybee to the Abby Bible. Okay, so now my fourth tattoo. I think I was still in high school when I got it. I mean, like, I was 18. My birthday's in September, so basically my entire senior year of high school, I was 18. This tattoo, no, I definitely got it in high school, because this tattoo was a flash tattoo that I just saw a local tattoo artist post on their Instagram for Valentine's Day. I remember my high school boyfriend, Max, broke up with me on that Christmas. Yes, he broke up with me on Christmas Day. I remember seeing this tattoo on a flashie on Instagram and thinking, yes, this tattoo is really gonna stick it to that heartbreaker, because it is a candy heart that says, "You suck." Like, how freaking angsty of me to get this stupid tattoo to really say F you to my high school boyfriend on my ankle. Like, why? And this is why 18-year-olds should not be allowed to get tattoos, because, like, that is so stupid. He doesn't care that I have a tattoo that says "you suck" on it. Like, I'm the idiot who put it on myself forever to memorialize my high school boyfriend breaking up with me. It was really angsty and silly, but now it's just a funny story, and this is why, like, I don't believe in regretting my tattoos, because now I can just laugh about it. And, like, in the grand scheme of life, like, who cares? It's honestly so fun when people notice it and they go, "What does that say? Does that say you suck?" Like, yes. Yes, it absolutely says that. And I got it because my boyfriend broke up with me. What an idiot. Honestly, thank God he broke up with me, because he's a loser these days. He looks so grimy. Like, that is literally the best feeling, to see like your old exes and be like, honestly, thank God you broke up with me, because I was way better off without you. But you know, like, in the moment, you don't realize that, especially as a high schooler experiencing her first heartbreak. It was so dramatic. But honestly, some of the drama was justified, because who the heck breaks up with their girlfriend on Christmas? This next tattoo I got when I was 19 visiting home from college, and it is the book from Hocus Pocus. So in high school, I was a theater nerd, okay? I was drama club president for 2 years. That's right, 2 years, junior and senior year. But the very first play I did my freshman year of high school was Hocus Pocus, which was so fun. I was Mary and Hocus Pocus, obviously. I was a leading lady. I remember getting the part, and a bunch of the upperclassmen were so upset that this brand new freshman got one of, like, the top 3 leading lady parts. But, like, when you're talented, you're just talented. And I think it's clear that you can see that I'm dramatic and, like, good at expressions, and that is exactly that character, you know? She's very expressive with her face and everything, so it just, like, I was good at it, okay? I'm gonna justify that I'm a great actress. Also, the tattoo artist that did this for me was, like, the stage manager of our high school production, who, like, went into tattooing. So that was kind of like a fun little tie-in, and just, like, again, like a scrapbook moment for me, because, like, listen, I like Hocus Pocus, but I don't, like, love Hocus Pocus by any means. It was just kind of like a fun little memory that I put on my body for some reason. My next tattoo is definitely my worst tattoo. Oh God, I hate this one, but, like, I'm not ever gonna remove it, because, like, whatever, who cares? This was, again, one of those, like, flash sheet things that I just chose randomly, because, like, who cares? Life's not that serious. But it was done by, like, a pretty freshly new tattoo artist, and she just really did not know what she was doing. I remember overhearing her complain to her coworker, saying that, like, my skin wasn't tight enough, and that, like, I was too fat for the tattoo or something. Like, it was really bizarre. She blamed her poor workmanship on me and my body instead of just accepting that, like, she really didn't know what she was doing, because no one else has ever had issues with my tattooing me like how she did. Like, I had never bled so much from a tattoo. The lines are all so blown out. The coloring is patchy. Like, a lot of it just healed horribly. And like, again, I never had any issue healing any of my other tattoos except for this one. It just was so poorly done, and her hand was so heavy. She was just like digging into my skin. Like, I had never bled so much. But it's truly fine. Like, I don't care. It is on my upper thigh, and so no one really sees it unless you see me pantless. And if you're seeing me pantless, I think you're preoccupied with other things than seeing this shitty tattoo. My next one is this like measuring tape in a bow on my forearm here. So I got this one because I saw a picture of it on Pinterest again. I have no original ideas, clearly, when I was 19. But over time, I have like assigned the meaning to it of being like, your beauty isn't measured by the size of your waist. And because at the time of getting this, I was still very much trying to learn how to love myself as a plus size person. Very much still a battle for me to learn how to be confident in my body as it is. And so like, that's the meaning that I have assigned to it. That's not the meaning that it used to have now, but now it is because your beauty is not measured by the size of your waist. It actually is a really bad fuck up on it that I didn't catch until a long time later, but pretty much the numbers do not start where they're supposed to. Like, in the middle of the bow, it says 3, 4, 5, but really that should be at the end of the measuring tape. Like, that is something that could have probably been caught, but like, I wasn't fucking thinking about it at the time, and like, who cares, whatever. Who's going, your numbering is incorrect on that. These were all tattoos that I got in Florida when I was like 18, 19. Now we move on to the tattoos that I got when I was in college at the Savannah College of Art and Design in Georgia. I literally miss getting tattoos there because everything was so much cheaper than in New York, which I think is a big reason why I haven't gotten tattoos, just because like everything is so much more expensive here. Once I hit college, I really decided to just, you know, go full steam ahead with the bigger tattoos, because my next tattoo was this huge portrait of my dog Daisy. Like, this was definitely my biggest tattoo. She had passed away under tragic circumstances. Like, we don't really know what happened to her, but all of a sudden she became paralyzed in her back 2 legs. And like, we tried water therapy, acupuncture, tried like a little doggy wheelchair on her, but she ended up losing full mobility in all of her legs, front and back. And it got so bad to the point that she couldn't even like sit up on her own. We had to like prop her up on the couch, and she had to wear a diaper, and it just wasn't a life for her, you know. It was really sad. And so like, I love that I get to now have her on my arm to look at forever, because she just literally was such a sweet dog that we lost under such unfortunate, unpreventable, incurable conditions. But I love the little detailing in this because she truly had like the little saddest eyes, and I feel like they really do come through in this. And I love these like little floating hearts around her. It almost looks like freckles, but they're just little hearts in the air around her sweet face. The next one I got right next to it is just like a love letter with some flowers to resemble like always remembering to write a love letter to myself. Because at this time in college, like, I was just like really struggling with dating, and like, as someone who like grew up like fat and insecure, like, I unfortunately looked for validation in men. And so like, with all of my terrible dating experiences going on, like, I just had to remind myself I just need to focus on myself and my schooling so that I could have a good career, and that the only love that I needed was myself. But it also did help because I was sleeping with this tattoo artist. I'm sorry, Mom, I hope you're not watching this. But yeah, I was sleeping with the tattoo artist that gave me this tattoo. And so they like gave me good discount, but also I kept getting tattoos from him because I just wanted an excuse to see him. I'm quickly losing sunlight, so I need to hurry this up. This next one is based off of these lady head vases I collect. Like, they're like vintage from like the 1950s, and like, I don't know why, but they were just a thing that I've always collected, like, since I was like 15 or whatever. I think it has to do with like my pinup era. Nothing crazy, you know. But my next tattoo has literally nothing to do with it, but like, everyone always asks me, is this hand supposed to be her hand? Because it does kind of look like that, but really they have nothing to do with each other. This one I just got as a flash sheet from like the same tattoo artist that I was hooking up with. After that, I got my big sternum piece. So it's just like these flowers that sit right under my boobs and kind of like frame it. I just like it because you know, it's not something that you typically see on plus size bodies, especially someone who has like saggy boobs. Like it's just not something you see too often. I actually got it to learn to love my boobs a little bit more because my boobs like sit like really far apart and they're just like saggy and they're just like everything, you know, like we're taught like unattractive boobs look like. But I love that this tattoo makes me feel so like sexy and feminine in this placement. And also, story of getting this tattoo is a little bit nuts. So this was the tattoo artist that I was sleeping with. And please none of my family watch this, okay? We were alone in the tattoo studio together and like obviously like it's like pretty hot, you know what I mean? Like I'm getting this giant piece right under my boobs in an intimate spot. We're like hooking up. So at one point when he was tattooing me, he was like, I was laying down and he was standing like right here and I while he was tattooing me. Like, does this not sound straight out of like a corn? It's so stupid, but it was like so fun and hot. I was like 20, 21, like sleeping with my older tattoo artist. Like that shit is fun when you're young. And now it's like a crazy, funny, stupid story that I can tell. Like who else can say, you know, they gave up while getting a tattoo? Because I was just, you know, down bad for this man. I also got a tattoo on my butt. So it is a peach that says, blame it on the juice. It was again one of those things where I was just like, you know, I just want to spend some time with my man. He was not my man by any means, but I just want to spend some time with my man and get a sexy little tattoo. So I just got a little peach on my peach, you know? And also I loved the song Blame It On My Juice by Lizzo. Lizzo, you know, don't love her so much these days, but that's a whole nother conversation. Next up, I got this like naked woman surrounded by some grapes on my forearm. She has 100% like blown out and just gotten really dark. So I would love to eventually maybe get her touched up and get some white put in there, but like I still don't mind it. It's really not that big of a deal to me. I just wanted like a hot pinup girl on my arm and it just really didn't mean anything else. So I'm not attached to it anyway and I'm not like upset that it doesn't look fantastic. On the same arm, I got this little bird and it is actually a matching tattoo with my mom. So when we put our wrists together, it's actually like two birds sitting on a branch, which is so cute. We love little matching tattoos with mommy. My mom and I haven't always had the best relationship, but at this point in college, we started to really better our relationship and I wanted something to kind of like memorialize that with her. And she's like very much a little bird lady. I don't mind birds. I had a pet bird in high school named Peggy and she was absolutely adorable. She was like a little lovebird. I loved her. She was like so unreal. Like she would sleep in my neck and like she was kind of like a dog. She would follow me around my room. Like she was so affectionate. And anytime I would say her name, Peggy, at night, she would chirp back. But then one tragic night, we were out trying to get her a new cage because her cage was broken. And like she stayed up in my room upstairs in my parents' house. And there was a bad thunderstorm. And when there's a thunderstorm, my dogs get really freaked out and they run upstairs. And they had run upstairs and got to her, unfortunately. And so when I came home, she was dead. And it was a really devastating time. This bird kind of reminds me of her and also, you know, matches with my mom, so it's really sweet and cute. On that same wrist is this dog paw tattoo. So basically it was a flashy fundraiser event for the Humane Society. Just this like random tattoo shop in Georgia was doing this so that if you came in, a portion of the proceeds from every tattoo they did that day that was like animal themed went to the Humane Society. I eventually want to get it colored in. Just like at the event, they were only doing line work. I do really like it still because I am such an animal person. I just know it would be cuter colored in. So maybe I'll do that this year. All right, we're in the home stretch here. Those were all the tattoos that I got in college. So now in the timeline, I have moved to New York. COVID had like started only a couple months after I had moved. So like no one was really doing tattooing, you know what I mean? Like it was like a weird time. I wasn't going anywhere to be that close to anyone. But once things lightened up, I decided to get a tattoo from one of my favorite tattoo artists that I had been coveting for years, which is Mira of Girl New York. That's like her handle that she's known by. And her style is just super unique and distinctive and feminine and dainty. Like it is completely different in style from all of my other tattoos. So like, it doesn't really match everything else, but I don't really care. That's okay. I got a few things from her in that session. The first big thing I got is this giant portrait. Yes, this is a portrait. What happened is I wanted to get a tattoo of a fat girl taking a picture of herself naked, because that is kind of like how I had grown to love myself, just by like looking at myself naked and just taking pictures of myself and just like really like exposure therapying myself to my body. And that's a big reason why I have like grown into who I am today as a confident woman. But what's crazy is that like she didn't draw anything up before we got there. Like we talked about this idea when we were in person. And then when it comes time to sketching, she's like, so like, do you just want to like airdrop me a nude of yourself? And I can just like base the art on you? Obviously I was like, hell yeah. So we literally went through my nudes folder. Like we went through and looked at several of them to find one, and I just airdropped my nude to her, and then she sketched over it, and that's how we got here. Like this is literally based on my body. I just, you know, am on a cloud with some wings, obviously, as I naturally exist. In that same setting, she did my hand tattoos that I absolutely love. Like I just love going through life and looking down and seeing these little things on my hands. I don't know, I just love it. She like, this is very much her style. Like she's known for these like ivy vines and like the little like sparkles. It's just like very distinctively her. But I also got this like little cloud and lightning bolt on here. And then on this hand, this says ladylike. I have always known for years that I wanted to get ladylike across my knuckles, like LADYLIKE, like it just fits perfectly. But when we were doing this tattoos, like I just kind of let her like go to town and just put things randomly and just do as she pleases. And then when we got to this part, she was like, what's like a word that you really connect with? Like I'll put it right here. And so immediately ladylike came to mind, just because like I love the irony of getting a tattoo that says ladylike on your hand, which is just like goes against everything that people would consider is ladylike. Tattoos, a hand tattoo, that is not something that like traditional women would see as ladylike, but like I do. Honestly, I want to get more hand tattoos. I would really love to have her like little sparkles touched up. Maybe I'll do that before my wedding so that they look like really nice before then. But like besides these being pretty, they really mean nothing to me. And that's, as you have learned, the majority of my tattoos. They really don't mean anything, but they all still have like a story and a memory attached to them, which is why I love tattoos. Like when I'm 80 and all of these tattoos look like shit, I'm gonna still remember the day that I got those tattoos and remember what I was like at that point in my life. I definitely plan on getting way more tattoos. Like I want to get more hand tattoos. I want this to be covered. I want my legs to be covered. Like I would love to do a big back piece at some point. I used to say I would totally get like my neck tattooed, but I don't know if I would do that anymore. Like I would definitely do a chest piece, but I don't think I'll go above the chest. I definitely don't want to do my face. And maybe I'll be like 85 and be like, F it, let's get a face tattoo, because like what matters in life anymore at that point. Honestly, it's so funny to think back, like when I first started getting tattoos, my dad, who was like very against tattoos, was like, how are you gonna get a job? How are you gonna get a job with all of these tattoos? And now I've worked in corporate fashion for 5 years and have climbed the corporate ladder just fine. Never once has someone judged me, at least to my face, for my tattoos. Like my dad's a nuclear engineer. I work in fashion. We're just in two different fields, buddy. Like no one cares in an artsy field about tattoos. And I just think in general as a society, we've destigmatized tattoos a lot more because it really doesn't mean anything. It's just a fun way to express yourself. If anything, I actually think it's a good thing because it proves that you are able to sit for long hours, be patient, and endure pain. Those are some top qualities for an employee. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little tour of my tattoos and a peek into the story of my life and kind of who I was when I was younger. I don't regret a single one, and I know that I am just gonna become more and more covered over the years as my income grows. Tell me in the comments what tattoos you have, what tattoo you're dreaming of having, what tattoo of mine is your favorite. I hope you guys liked this video. I always have so much fun just getting real chatty on here because I have a lot to say. I can talk to a wall or a camera for hours. Thanks for watching. Bye.